Hello, thank you for coming to our final symposium today. We are the Threat in Cyberspace RT. On the right corner of the presentation, there will be a QR code which is for submitting questions with smartphones, so please feel free to do so.
During our RT meetings, we discussed the following questions. What is cyberspace? What does it mean to conduct international relations in cyberspace? What is AI? How does technology impact national security? Who should be in charge of AI? And what are some social structural norms and differences regarding tech, data, privacy in US and Japan? We also had 2 debates during our pre-conference meetings. Our first debate was on whether or not the Japanese government should give free tablet to everyone. And our second debate was on whether or not AI research should be restricted by the government. We will now talk about cyberspace intersects with all of the JASC Roundtable's topics, and each of our members will be talking about it. Health is a rising topic in the aging society that the world is now heading towards, including Japan and the US. And especially this year with the pandemic, health caught a lot of public attention. ICT has a great capability in enriching people's life from many aspects, and health is not an exception. The application of ICT played a major role in suppressing the spread of COVID-19. Also, supercomputers and distributed computings are some powerful tools that we have to accelerate research about this virus and other incurable diseases. In the future, ICT will make medical treatment more accessible to a wide variety of people. Such innovations as remote surgery and telemedicine are some examples. New technology such as AI and IoT are expected to reduce doctors' burden and help in making more accurate diagnosis. Cyber technology already plays a major role in medical facilities, and the importance is only increasing. So we believe reinforcing legal regulation to prevent cyber attacks to a medical facility is urgently required. On an individual level, we are more exposed to the technologies, especially in this period of time where moving online is strongly encouraged. Many concerns to both mental and physical health are reported. We discussed the slander on cyberspace and the possibility that the people's use of cyberspace, such as social networking services, is isolating people to exclusive groups instead of connecting them. Those concerns are often overlooked. However, cyber technology's health effect on individuals are the things to be further researched and considered in the future.
Here, I want to talk about the relationship between cyber roundtable and hard power and individuals roundtable. So the right to privacy in the recent COVID-19 measures. In Japan, the US and other countries, cyber technologies are used to collect information such as behavioral history of individuals as countermeasures against COVID-19. The necessity of collecting information is understandable, since it is said to be important to know the behavioral history of infected persons at the early stage in order to stop the spread of COVID-19. However, there is a privacy issue here. Humans have a right to privacy and the freedom to act without the knowledge of others. This is very right of the individuals to be free from oppression by the state and is an essential right in a democracy. However, we have not heard much concern about privacy due to the fear of the spread of COVID-19 infection. Will our privacy be protected in the collection of information for COVID-19? Can we really believe that they won't use personal information for any purpose other than infectious diseases, whether it's done by anti-terrorism agencies like Israel or by companies like Google, as in the US? Some might say that the collection of information as an infection control measure is temporary, so we shouldn't have to worry about privacy. But I disagree. For example, the American Patriot Act that was passed in the United States after the 9/11 terrorism attack was supposed to be temporary in the beginning, but it's still in use 19 years later. When we think about it, cyber technology has the power to greatly enhance the nation's hard power, surveillance technology.
Speaking about the intersections of the environment to cyberspace, I'll raise two main points. One being about the technology of AI, and the other being about the environment of cyberspace itself. The rise of technology has made severe innovation to our lives, but at the same time, it is causing a huge burden to the environment. Now, new technology has been introduced and invested for accomplishing the SDGs, and within that, technology in cyberspace can play an important role through the use of AI. First, green AI expresses the whole movement of using AI to combat global warming, and AI can be used to monitor such emissions of hazardous substances, and especially can be used for a unified method on measuring the emissions of greenhouse gas of each country, which are agreed on eliminating by the Paris Agreement. Simulations of environment damage can be calculated by AI as well. Talking about the environment of cyberspace itself, there are concerns of stray IoTs being used to make attacks complicated, to prevent the hackers to be detected, and also for the computer resources being used for the DDoS attacks. By meaning stray, it is IoT still being able to go online, however, does not have someone managing it, meaning that there are no security patches for them. Environment in cyberspace should be under control through such regulations in the era where everything is getting connected to the internet.
The continuing development of cyberspace provides endless opportunities for how we can connect with people from all around the world. Thanks to technology today, social media and news outlets allow us to stay informed at all times. Especially in today's time of global panic, quarantines, and social distancing, cyberspace is an incredibly useful tool to stay informed and stay in touch with others. But I would argue that not all is well, since there is still more to be done and fixed regarding cyberspace's relation to media and democracy. While I won't be able to talk about all of these issues right now, I'll provide an example I was most taken aback by regarding anonymity's role in media, democracy, and cyberspace. First, anonymity means that the involved party cannot be held accountable for its actions or words. With more and more people using anonymous profiles to share their thoughts, it's difficult to identify who is authentic or who is a troll trying to stir drama but not necessarily agreeing with what they say. Because of this, conversations become more one-sided and typically end in people feeling attacked and many more feeling against the point of view opposite theirs rather than coming to an understanding. Another more obvious issue is that of fake news, as it is easy to reproduce and then spread online. Even well-known news sites can get confused by what is real on the internet, so it's important for these platforms to present accurate data. I want to conclude this section by reminding that though we have these concerns, the future is still optimistic, as we can only work towards improving our current systems. People are very creative when utilizing cyberspace to share their stories and values, and it's important for us across the world to find the balance between ensuring we have an open and secure space online.
The relationship between labor and cyberspace is currently witnessing a significant impact from COVID-19. Therefore, the relationship is rapidly changing in a present progressive form. Let's look at some of the situations regarding labor here. First, there will be further digital divide after the pandemic, with more opportunities and stability of income for jobs that are based online, as it is detached from the situations of the pandemic. Second, telework itself has issues of accurately calculating or evaluating work while maintaining healthy work styles. Cybersecurity is another obstacle, especially for companies short of money. While bigger enterprises are able to afford abundant security measures, smaller companies need government support. Regarding gender in cyberspace, we discussed that there are less gender-based jobs such as serving tea, but there is difficulty of compartmentalization of work and private life. For instance, working mothers have been struggling by focusing on work, distracted by their children and housework. Our RT also talked about harassment and cyberbullying. Although there are still cases of cyberbullying, we thought that every communication being on record could be a deterrent for sexual or power harassment.
So on this slide, I would like to talk about how cyberspace and identity and culture intersects within each other. In the digital world today, in addition to our physical offline identity, we all have our online identity. By using social media, people can create a different identity from their offline identity. Online activities are no longer separable from our real lives, and this is partially because we're constantly experiencing an on-life experience, which means that the digital online world is spilling over into our analog offline world and merging with it. Moreover, there has been some global efforts to give out digital identity to refugees and others who are lacking vital legal papers to have access to services such as health and education. However, it is said that these digital identities could leave them vulnerable to persecution or discrimination. I'd also like to point out that technology and culture directly influence each other. As culture changes, so does technology innovates, and as technology improves, the culture can change as well. Technology can bridge the cultural divide between countries, but the cultural divide is also dictated by the different technological possibilities available and what users are allowed to use. So thinking about the future, it would be necessary to consider how technology could impact the cultural divide and also international relations. Now that we've introduced all of the intersections, we would like to conclude our presentation. So far, we've looked at the relationship between cyberspace and various fields. As you can see, cyber technology has the potential to change our lives, and of course, it has both positive and negative impacts. No matter how much technology develops, at the end of the day, it's still the people who use it, and it is our responsibility to make sure that new technologies will be used in a human-centric way. We're so happy that we were able to present our findings to you today. Thank you so much. ありがとうございました。